What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today we're going to be looking at Hogwarts Legacy and some of the controversy surrounding this game. And it appears that the creator of Harry Potter has somehow been mixed up in all of this when, in reality, it's been said many times, this game has nothing to do with the creator. In fact, this is an independent project that's actually being done by two video game development companies in order to make a video game in the world of the Harry Potter universe. Now, one thing is very critical and one thing is very important with video games. Gamers are a very protective group. Most of us are fans in the sense that we enjoy the art of gaming. In fact, I believe that the next step for every gamer is understanding as much as they possibly can with the game development process and also the economic ramifications of every single video game that's been released. This is usually the driver that allows for a lot of people to actually go the extra mile in purchasing a game or maybe supporting a studio of developers in developing a game that they actually like. So the question and the crux of all this controversy is, are gamers actually well versed in these points or in this, set of paradigms? And the answer to that is, I think, yes. Most gamers are actually very well knowledgeable about the entire process of making video games, marketing video games. And over the course of many years, because of how video games have been reported upon, most gamers know the ramifications of a failed game. They understand and know that a video game that is good, that does not get the attention that it needs, could be a huge tragedy. And developers who have put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of time in creating the game could be the ones that actually get the axe at the end of the day. So this entire conversation of buying or purchasing Hogwarts Legacy needs to be put to rest with one very simple solution. Whoever wants to buy the game needs to go ahead and do what it is that they feel is best for them. Whoever does not want to buy the game needs to also go ahead and do what they feel is best for them. One thing about video games, and this has come from the age where we used to talk about, should you pre-order a game? Should you not pre-order a game? What are the ramifications here and there? I've always maintained that you, as the gamer, you understand exactly what each video game would mean to you. You know the risks that you're taking. You know the challenges that the game development world faces, and potentially you understand that your expectations could not necessarily be always met, but you still go ahead and make a purchase of a video game, whether it's a pre-purchase, pre-order, or whether it's a day one purchase, because even day one purchases can still be disappointing. But in this case, Hogwarts Legacy seems to be in a place where its developers have opened the door for conversation, have been willing to showcase a lot, are working extra hard to make sure that the game is available on as many platforms as possible. And I think that whole process demands the respect and has already gotten most of the respect of a lot of the fans. Yes, there's still some issues that are still pressing, like say pre-orders and the bonuses and possible in-game purchases and here and there. But I don't think that those things right now are the crux of the conversation. The crux of the conversation are, what will be the effects of these controversies on the developers who have worked so hard to put a game like this together? If these controversies are allowed to foster or fester in a sense, is it going to be a thing where fans do not enjoy a creation that they like because somebody feels a certain way about the creator who is in no way attached to the project? Or is it a thing where we can separate the art from the artist? I remember the other day I was talking about my favorite artist, my favorite actor. One of my favorite actors is actually Tom Cruise. But many of you know, if you've been listening or if you've been paying attention, his personal life is not necessarily something that many people would agree with. This is just the truth. But at the end of the day, if you are a fan of the actor in terms of the way they actually play their roles in movies, you can always separate that art from the artist in that sense. And I think this is where many Hogwarts Legacy fans are currently. Now, another thing, too, is we have to also try our best to be consistent, even though it could be annoying. And sometimes we can also see that sometimes maybe an artist can go too far in their personal life. And you could say, you know what, I don't want to necessarily deal with anything that, is pertaining to this particular artist. So you as the purveyor of the art has the opportunity to actually make that choice. Because whenever I mention Tom Cruise, I've seen friends of mine and even associates shriek and say, ooh, he's just kind of weird or whatever. And I'm like, I get it. But in a movie, it's not like I sit down in his house on Sunday and barbecue or whatever. But when he's in a Mission Impossible movie, all I want to see is Ethan Hawke do what Ethan Hawke actually does. And I think Hogwarts Legacy fans are there. Once they pick this video game up, they want to see the Hogwarts Legacy. They want to see all of the fantasy world that this universe brings and are interested in that. And I think that's where the crux of the matter actually lies. If you're a fan, you already know what's good for you. You already know exactly what it is that you want to experience. And I think this is the main part. And then let's look at the economic side, because I spent the last 5 minutes talking about, say, the metaphysical side of things or the ideological side of things, depending on how you look at it. You can think about the economic side as the developers who are currently working on this game, all of the different studios involved, all of the different maybe contractors or whatever it is. This is going to be a game that's on their resume. Most of them took on this job, knowing all of the different circumstances around it, but understood that a job like this would pay for their living, would take care of their own costs, and give them an opportunity to be able to in future work on other important IPs if they see that they worked on such an important game like this on their resume. So the colossal effect of a controversy trying to stop this game from, in a sense, prospering has even much more ramifications than anyone could think. I've seen people say, well, Hogwarts Legacy developers have already been paid, so therefore it should mean that no one is obliged to, in a sense, purchase the game. But how many people even are paying attention to the possibility that somebody is working on marketing for this game and will potentially need another job in marketing in gaming? And if something, God forbid, were to go wrong with the marketing for Hogwarts Legacy because of so-called controversies, how would it look on that person's resume on the day that they're looking for another job to take care of themselves, feed their family, and take care of their own personal business? This is where the problem is with art, and sometimes where ideology wants to mix itself with art. But at the end of the day, we gamers, we've always been known to be very protective. And I think this is the one time where us being protective of the things that we actually enjoy will come into perspective and come into play. At first, I was going to wait for a day one purchase for Hogwarts Legacy. I wasn't necessarily going to pull, the trigger on getting myself a copy. But right now, I think I have to be consistent. I pre-ordered Gotham Knights. If you guys are following me on Twitter, you saw that I went ahead and put that. And so in that line of consistency, I'm going to go ahead and eat this one again and break this rule that I usually do not break. And I'm going to pre-order Hogwarts Legacy. In fact, I'm thinking of actually doing the deluxe edition to get that 72-hour early access and also see what's in store for the game. Now, I know one thing about the pre-orders it's all the way in February for release. So there is a window to be able to make that pre-order. But I would love to also go ahead and do it as soon as possible so that I can see what this development firm is capable of doing, and hopefully be able to get them to move on to further works down the road so that devs can eat. One thing I have always appreciated, and I'm going to close my video with this, is after delving into learning video game development, the art is so difficult and challenging. I always wonder to myself, who would ever want to develop a video game in today's environment? But these developers, they take the risk, they take the time, they go into this job, into this industry that is not necessarily the most conducive, and they give it their best. And so we as the audience, if they give it their best, we ought to be able to show them and say, hey, if you guys are doing a great job, we're going to make sure that you guys are taken care of as much as we can. So if you're buying Hogwarts Legacy, or you're considering giving as a gift, as a Christmas gift or as a holiday gift to somebody else, make sure that you actually make that commitment in order to support a project like this, because you never know who you're affecting positively with that decision. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.